Are you serious? Are you serious? That is a spectacular shot of the Comet Ison as it's racing through the heavens. It's about 42 million miles right now from the sun. It's racing there at enormous speed. This picture was captured by Damian Peach, and he was using a 20 millimeter telescope. He captured this spectacular shot. There is some information. Comet Ison is getting brighter, but no fireworks yet so far. But I received an email just a few moments ago from Jesse Waltman at BP Earthwatch. He will be our guest this Thursday on our live show, so you don't want to miss it, as he'll be discussing the situations in the heavens as it relates to the Comet Ison, the Comet Lovejoy, the Comet Inky, solar flares on the sun, and the impact that this all has on the earth. And how does it relate to biblical prophecy? Well, I'll help you with that. And as we're studying this, though, Jesse sent me this email and said, Paul, we've just had a massive solar flare on the sun as it was pointed directly at Ison and Mercury. And just as Ison was whizzing by Mercury and getting into Mercury's orbit, this major X1 class solar flare erupted and sent all of its energy right toward the speeding comet and the planet Mercury. Let me play that. Let me give you about a minute audio here. I want to give you about a minute audio. This is Jesse at BP Earthwatch. Hang on just a second, folks. Forgive me if something's a little off here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here's Jesse at BP Earthwatch.
North of the center dot, the sun right there. That's Mercury. From the chart to the right that's popped up, it shows Ison. Now, Ison, you see that? They're beside each other. Now, that was the 20th, because today is the 19th, and it's just crossed that line. Direct fire right into it. We knew it was coming with the size of Ison. We've been watching it. It's like a week ago we had some strong flares. It's just been building up a small but constant energy burst. But now it's so close. Look at that. That's Ison coming in on the peak. Notice.
So as he's explaining there, of course, as Ison was going just past Mercury and into Mercury's orbit, the solar flare from the sun at X1 erupted, sending the CMEs and electromagnetic pulses right toward Ison. Now, the BBC News is reporting that astronomers are getting good views of Comet Ison, and we see that, but the icy object has not yet lived up to its high expectations set for it. But Ison has been bright over the last 2 weeks, letting rip 2 giant outbursts of gas and dust. But it has not yet produced the spectacular show that some are predicting. The comet is currently hurling toward the sun and is set to be its closest approach. And like I said, it is about 42 million miles from the sun. I want to thank Dr. Joe in Montana for information on the distance. Thank you. Ison might not survive this encounter with the sun. The perihelion is when it whips around the sun. It may not survive, but if it does, it could yet delight stargazers with a dazzling display. Now, so we're going to continue to monitor it. We're going to continue to focus on it because it is a sign in the heavens. You know, Jesus said there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and the stress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Then he goes on to say, and men's hearts shall fail them for fear of things coming upon the earth. And so we've been noticing that NASA's been extremely quiet. We have no images from the rover on Mars when it went by Mars. NASA gave us none of those. They shut off Deep Space satellite that was supposed to be, its sole purpose was to capture this comet. NASA said they shut it off. I doubt that. I believe they got it. They just won't show us the pictures because they're afraid of what's in that tail. Look at the enormity of that tail. Listen, folks, that tail, if I remember right, that tail is 7 million miles long. 7 million miles long, full of debris, of meteorites, asteroids, and comet dust. And we don't know what all's in it. And first of all, will the Comet Ison survive the sun? That's the first question. And the second question is, if it does, it will then go past the Earth on December 26th, but it'll be above us. It won't hit us. But as it goes by, we'll circle around our orbit and we'll come back around. And on January the 15th, 2014, we will go directly into that tail you're looking at. We will go into that tail, into that debris field for the first time ever. And we have no idea what we're going to encounter as we go through there. That is the question that NASA doesn't know. Nobody knows. We don't know just what's all in it. We just know it's an enormous tail. Now, if Comet Ison does not survive the perihelion or the whip around the sun, if it explodes as it gets within 730,000 miles of the sun, well, I asked Jesse Waltman on the show last week, I said, Jesse, if that happens, where does all the rocks go? Where does all the meteorites and asteroids? He said, Paul, that's the million-dollar question. Because there'll be no more, they're going to go off in a different direction. And so we don't know what's in it, and we don't know if it's going to survive the sun, but we do know we're still going to go through its debris field on January 15th. We just may encounter some other stuff as well, because if Ison doesn't survive the sun, it blows into millions and millions of pieces. Folks, don't miss Thursday's show. As I said, Thursday, we're on at paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. We'll be covering all the current world events, including the Iranian nuclear deal, the peace talks between the Israelis and the Palestinians, all of the current events, the apocalyptic weather we've been having, everything that has to do with the end time Bible prophecy. We'll cover it all. I'm on today from 12 to 3. Don't miss this show. We'll be talking about this today. And Jesse Waltman will be my guest on Thursday's show. Of course, the show is always from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. What? Are you serious? Are you serious? Something biblical's going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ.